I'm going to show you how to make a nutritious bone broth. Bone broth is not just a food, it's a powerful medicine that when you drink every day will help you to heal your body. It has amazing health benefits. And I'm going to be making a chicken bone broth. So what I've done is I've been saving these chicken bones in a Ziploc bag. This is probably about 3 weeks worth of chicken bones. I normally make a bone broth every week, so I don't normally have as many bones as I have today, but of course I've been saving it for this demonstration to show you. But what you can do during the week, whatever chicken you have, a roast chicken, chicken with any bones, just save in a Ziploc bag and place it in the freezer until you have enough bones to make your stock. If you want to make a beef bone broth, you can do that as well. During the week as well, when you have any beef with bones, same thing, save it in a Ziploc bag. If you want to make a beef bone broth straight from raw bones, you can go to your butcher and ask for some bones. And the only thing is with that, you just need to cook it in the oven. Just roast it in the oven for about 30 minutes on about 350 degrees Fahrenheit before you start this process that I'm going to show you. So the first thing we do is we place our bones into a pot. Make sure it's big enough. And then what I do is I fill this up with filtered water. So I'm just going to fill that up, and I'll show you in a minute what it looks like, until it just covers the bones. You don't want to have too little water. You want to have enough water so that it doesn't cook away while you're cooking it. While the water is filling up the pot, you would need organic apple cider vinegar, carrots, celery, parsley, a couple of cloves of garlic, peppercorns, an onion, and some sea salt. The next step is really important. I use apple cider vinegar that is organic, unpasteurized, unrefined, that contains the mother. The mother is really important because this is the fermented culture that contains all the goodness. So I give it a shake so I can get that mother shaken in, and then I put about 3 or 4 caps. So one, I'm going to give it 4 because this is quite a big stock. You could do sort of 2 if it's half the size. Now why I do this, I leave it to stand for about 30 minutes because what the apple cider does, it draws out all the nutrients from the bones. That makes a really rich stock. And the bones have collagen, which supports joints, hair, nails, skin. It also contains minerals like magnesium, calcium, potassium, which helps bones and teeth, as well as amazing proteins and amino acids. So that's why bone broth is an amazing way of improving your health, healing the gut. It's anti-inflammatory, promotes good bacteria in the gut as well. Next, what I do is I take my carrots and I just break them in half. You can do 2 or 3 carrots. There's no real measurements. You can also break that in half. I don't do the parsley and the garlic. That I keep for the last 30 minutes of cooking, then I add that towards the end of cooking time. Then a couple of peppercorns, an onion that you've just chopped up, well, cut in half, and a bit of salt. And we're ready to put it on the stove. Then we turn the stove on to high because you want to get that stock up to the boiling point as soon as possible. Place the lid on and wait until that comes to the boil. Once it starts to boil, you take the lid off and then you turn it down to simmer. Make sure it simmers. It mustn't boil anymore from now because you'll lose too much of the liquid. It just needs to simmer for about 5 hours. Within the first hour of your stock simmering, you need to just check if there's any scum that comes to the top of the surface. Then you can just skim that off and place it into a container. But this stock at the moment doesn't have any scum, so that's good to go. The last 30 minutes of your cooking time, you will then add some parsley, just a bunch of parsley. I love parsley, so I add quite a lot, and your garlic. And let that continue to simmer for another 30 minutes. After about 5 hours of simmering, I actually switch the stove off and just leave the pot for about an hour because it's really hot to work with. And then what I have to do now is I have to strain the broth into a bowl. So you can do whatever works best for you. I'm just going to use the lid, it's easy enough. And I'll pretty much just, I can take out the bits if there are any bits a little later. If you prefer to use a strainer, you can also do that. And now you have your wonderful bone broth. What I do now is I put this in the fridge overnight, and it should start getting sort of like gelatine, like jelly looking. And then when it's cooled down, I place it into bottle jars in the fridge. You can use your bone broth for sauces, gravy, soups, stews, and I even put it in my smoothies. And it probably lasts for about 3 to 5 days in the fridge, or you can freeze it for about 3 months in the freezer. Let me know how your bone broth turned out. Perhaps you have a different recipe that you use, or you add different spices or different herbs. Let me know what you use your bone broth for, and any ideas that you'd like to share. And if you're interested in more of these kind of videos on weight loss ideas or healthy cooking, health topics, then consider subscribing. Until next time, yours to a healthier lifestyle. Enjoyed today's
Give me some comments. Give me.
give me